What's up, buddies, and welcome into the Playmakers Blueprint. I'm your girl, Bria Goss, and this is the podcast where we get to focus on crafting champions and shaping leaders. And I am here with another little cousin, actually the big bro to last week's episode, okay? Mr. Joe Goss. Let's get right into the bio, okay? Buckle up. Joe is an honors student, four-sport athlete. Oh, four-sport student athlete. Okay, very heavy on the student. All MIC underclassmen, Rising Star nominee, Indy Parks Easter and Grinch volunteer. We're gonna get to that. Leader of his peers, three-time MIC Player of the Week nominee, one-time Kroger Player of the Week, two-time MIC runner-up in golf. One of only two people, 8th grade students, make all-star players to represent the West team and multiple AAU football and basketball champion. Joe Goss, little cuz, welcome to the pod. How you feeling?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Happy to be here.
Can you give us a little insight on what the Grinch and Easter Bunny thing is?
Wanted to make money over the summer, spring. So, and, Indy Parks, they needed a little bit of help with the kids to help out. Took up for the job, got some costumes, went out there and helped with the kids. So
it's like mascot, Are the suits as hot as they look?
Yeah, definitely.
But that's one thing, it speaks to you because you bring energy every single time. And clearly you're a hustler. You want to make a little extra cash on the side, and you're really good with kids. So welcome into the podcast. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Okay, so let's get right into a quick rapid fire questions. I like to just kind of break the ice, get people comfortable, let the listeners kind of get to know you a little bit. Okay? All right, here we go. Coffee or tea?
Tea.
Favorite hobby?
Playing the game.
Favorite season and why?
Fall. Birthday.
Favorite holiday?
Christmas.
If you could visit any country, where would it be?
Canada.
Okay. Where's one thing on your bucket list?
Go skiing.
Okay. And best piece of advice someone has given you?
Stay ready so you don't got to get ready.
Hey, love that. You know who said that?
Nah.
I don't either. But we're going to give credit to them, okay? Okay, so let's jump right into it, okay? So, and I think this is a perfect episode topic for you. It is handling pressure. Handling pressure. Okay, it's a skill. You're still very young. Okay, and I want to point where you are as an athlete and as a student. Okay, it's far beyond probably where I was. I was very nervous when it came to handling pressure, at a young age. However, by my sophomore year, I did make the shot, so that's when it started. Right. But handling pressure. So tell us a little bit about your sports background. When did you start? What sports you play? Where you're at with it?
So I played basketball, football, track, and golf. I touched the basketball when I was around 2-3 years old. Yeah. Started football at kindergarten around 3 years old. Yeah. Golf, got into it 7th grade year. Mm-hmm. Broke my foot playing basketball. So
you had something else to do?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then track, got into it this year.
Yeah. So. And what position and or event?
I'm a hurdler. 300 and 110. So.
Awful. Awful. I don't want to ask, but I do want to know. What is your favorite sport and why?
Football. I'm kind of getting looks, more looks for college there. Yeah. So, yeah, definitely football. And kind of fell in love with it. So
there you go. Yeah, you've been playing. Was that the longest you've been playing that sport? The longest? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just a little itty bitty, nappy headed little boy. No. Okay, so you clearly have a lot of experience with sports, and it's short. How old are you?
16.
Jesus, I remember when you were just a baby, so that makes me sad. But give us an example in any of those sports where you felt like you had to handle the pressure.
Pipe game, sectional this year. Pipe versus BD, always been a big game.
Yes, Battle of the West Side.
Yeah, coach called a fade ball to Mark Zachary. Yeah. I'm thinking it's going to be like a screen, maybe a run play. It's 4th and 1. It was crazy.
Set the scene.
It was loud. try to zone everybody out, but it was so loud. So I had to just focus on the play, focus in the moment, snap the ball, had an end coming to chase me, rolled out, threw it to Mark, got hit, didn't see where it was going, but I heard the crowd screaming, so.
Hey, that must have been something. Congratulations. You remember what you were feeling in that moment?
I was nervous, excited too, because I felt like I could have, made the play, and anxiety was there too. So it was a lot.
Yeah. So, and I mean, just a little bit about me. When I was a sophomore and we're in state, we're undefeated, playing another undefeated team, playing against the one and only Skylar just Diggins at that point. And we were 1-2 in the state and 1-2 in the country. And 2 of our seniors fouled out, my sister being one of them, D. And then the other one was another Indiana All-Star, Alex Bentley. And ball came in, Skylar had the ball. We couldn't touch her. Easy leg, tie ball game with, less than a minute, but we had time. I'm drilling down the court with a lot of pressure. I'm thinking the coach is going to call the timeout.
Yeah.
I'm just a sophomore. I'm waiting for the timeout, run the play. I see that he's not calling the timeout. I think just something instinctively kicked in, made my move, went to really try to get a foul, but ended up making the shot. We win state, we win national championship. I think that's really when I started feeling the pressure and just how important it is to be able to handle it. Okay. Not only are you an all-star athlete, you're also the oldest and the big brother.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's some pressure coming with that?
Yeah. Knowing that I have to, set certain examples for her because, she's getting older. Like 13 now. It's crazy. And, just knowing that everything I do has an impact not only on her, but family. So.
Right. And not even just, on the courts, but also just being that leader at home.
Yeah.
Do you feel any pressure from your parents as far as stepping into that role and taking that responsibility?
Yeah. Most definitely. Doing a lot around the house, just trying to help out.
Good.
Do stuff like that. So, she does it. So.
That's you should. Good. Come on, leader. Okay, so let's zone in a little bit more on handling pressure in the sports world. Okay, so in your sports journey, you talked about the time when handling the pressure worked out for you. What about those times when there was some pressure and you came up short?
Pike basketball game freshman year, came up short. We have around I say maybe 2 minutes left, and I think we were losing maybe 4, maybe 3. I get fouled, and I miss one of the free throws. We get the ball back, but they get a steal. And my teammate, Marcus, he had around 29, maybe 30 points.
Yeah.
Going back and forth, 2s, 3s, stuff like that.
Okay.
But, we came short, and that was our 3rd time losing to them that season.
Oh.
Yeah, so.
And were they all 3 close, or was
Yeah, they were all 3 close. Yeah, our last game was the closest. Yeah, we got closer every time.
Yeah. Dang, man. But in that moment, what'd you learn?
I mean, everybody, comes short.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So, I mean, I just know that I had to work harder.
Yeah.
Be ready for the next time we face them.
Yeah. And it's one of those things. I mean, unfortunately, it's something I like to call failing forward. Mm-hmm. Even though you took the fall, you got to get back up in some way, shape, or form. I think I learn the best when I have those faults, have those failures, have those shortcomings. There's a lot to learn in that.
Right.
One of the biggest takeaways that I get is I'm more motivated. Is that kind of how you're after you?
Yeah, I say I'm more motivated than anything because it's I know that I got to. Yeah. I want to beat them. Yeah. And I have to. So it's more like a motivational.
Yeah.
Thing, so
I love that.
Definitely.
Good. Okay. Let's talk about the mental toughness that comes with handling the pressure, right? Take us through the mental toughness or the barriers that you have to push through. Let's just say in practice when the lights are off, that nobody's in the gym working with you. How do you stay and push through those mental toughness?
Knowing that it's practice, you got to go 1,000% in practice.
Yes.
So it's easier in the game.
Say that again. You got to go
1,000% in practice, so it's easier in the game.
Wisdom, young fella. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, why? Why do you have to go harder in practice than in the game?
Because in practice, it's harder. You know, going against a defense, football wise, going against a defense that has access to your plays, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, and that you're gonna make mistakes, but it's about how you cover from them, get back, and you know, prove the defense wrong.
Yeah.
I hate our defense.
Yeah, no, you're right. They do know your plays, and I know teams scout you guys, and so they quote unquote know your plays, but they don't know them better than y'all.
Right.
So like when it's hard, you're in the thick of things. You're going through co-captains, like that mental toughness that you have to develop. Like, what is that thing that kind of gets you to that next level?
Knowing that I have people like by me, knowing that they can push me and I can push them. So, I mean, having my teammates, you know, having my family, and you know, especially God,
the big one.
Yeah.
Shout out.
So,
yes.
Knowing that everybody's by me and knowing that I can be by everybody, it definitely helps me push. Knowing that I can be better.
Good. That's so good, Joe. Was there a time, maybe in practice or a game, where you know you're exhausted, overtime and things, where you didn't push through, and you kind of you hit that mental toughness wall and just kind of folded?
Yes. I hurt my shoulder LC game after I chucked somebody, you know, landed on it after, and I came back in practice. You know, I didn't do any rehab. I thought everything was gonna be good. I iced one time. I went out there, started throwing. It
didn't feel good.
Yeah, it didn't feel good, and I was trying to push through it, but it was like I didn't do everything that I was supposed to do, so I could.
Right.
You know, yeah, I just gave up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's a tough one. Is it so as you faced more pressure in the sports career, how did you start developing the mental toughness aspect? Was it, you know, making up your mind that this is what you're going to do? Was it you had no other choice? Like, you know, what was that thing that kind of got you on the right track? Breathing more, like, or your affirmations and things? Like, what was it?
Me and my dad worked out a lot, especially growing up. So knowing he asked me a whole bunch of times. I dang near every day of the week if this was what I really wanted to do. So, you know, I told him yes every time, and I wouldn't say I was prepared, but I was a little prepared for, you know, what it was going to come with. I started working out a lot, doing a lot, and it was tough. It was tough. It was definitely tough, but knowing that I wanted to make it to the league, growing up watching people on the big screen, I want to be on the big screen, you know. Just do everything. I know I was going to be capable.
Are you so I mean you've been working out and your dad's been, you know, working you out, you know, for probably most of your career, I'm gonna guess. And he's tough. I've worked out with that man. And he's tough. Especially when you were younger. Like, take us back, even if it's basketball or it's football, and it's just you two on the field or in the gym, right? Yeah, that's a different type of handling pressure because he's barking at you, you know, to be better. You're probably tired. You know what I mean? What did that look like at a young age? Take us through one of those hard practices for you.
As a youngin, you know, growing up with my dad pushing me a lot and actually starting to get serious with workouts, I would take, you know, the way he talks to me, you know, a little differently. But then it was like growing up, it was not what he said. I mean, it wasn't how he said it. It was what he said. What he was trying to deliver to me. So, you know, it was hard, but you know, getting into it, it got easier.
I feel like that kind of fed into the mental toughness, right? If you can hear him, if you can go through that, you know, then you can get through whatever these other coaches are taking you through, right? I mean, your dad, I'm gonna guess he cares about you a lot more than the coaches, not because, but just, you know, instinctively. So, like, did that in some way prepare you, you know, for the high school level?
Yes, most definitely. Whenever my dad used to like yell at me, tell me about certain stuff, I used to drop down in tears. I used to cry. Like, it used to like.
Your sister said the same thing.
It used to make me so mad, like so angry. But he was just getting me prepared because you know, watching on TV, NFL, college, stuff like that. Like the coaches, they're doing the same exact thing.
Boy.
And for it to be my dad and him, preparing me, it's like this is how it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And it might be a little less because he loves me,
Right.
So so.
Yeah. So looking back, what would you tell your younger self when you're upset when he's yelling at you? Like, what would you have told your younger self in those moments?
It's gonna be good. I mean, he's preparing you to get where you want to get. Yeah. So just listen to him. Listen to yourself.
Trust yourself.
Trust yourself.
Yeah.
So
big shout out.
Be happy too.
Yeah. And what your dad say? I was, talk nice to yourself. Right. I think you would always get so, in your head, and that would kind of cloud the rest of the workout. But that just slowly started to disappear, and you just started elevating your game. Like it was crazy. And I can't say that I had that same experience. Your dad didn't live, close to us growing up. So especially like when I was younger, and I was getting yelled at a lot by coaches in a way, just a normal, way. But it was when my dad would come in and work me out. I'm like, but Dad, why? You know what I mean? So I can relate in the sense of, I don't think I would get, so bad to where I would start crying, but I would get frustrated because I want to be better than D.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was like, I'm trying to find a way to be better than D in some way, shape, or form. And those who don't know, it's my older sister who kind of got me, introduced into basketball and things. So there was a way that I could just be better than D, and yeah, keep on yelling at me. Right. Do you think pressure has helped you or helped push you to be better?
Yes, for sure.
How so?
With pressure, it comes, especially with the mental battle, stuff like that. And, I had to like talk to myself. The way I used to talk to myself, it was like dang, like you need to do better, or like, get it together. And now it's like, come on, Joe, you know you got it, stuff like that. Yeah. So it was just me trying to push myself in a way that I know I can instead of getting down, right? Getting over myself.
And what do they say? They say pressure makes diamonds, right? So like, I mean, if everything was so easy all the time, how much growth could you have done in that? Right?
Yeah.
How did you reframe pressure from something negative into something motivating?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. So let me break that down. There's pressure on the field. Okay. Do you look at it as pressure, or do you look at it as an opportunity? Do you look at it and try to like diminish it, dumb it down to like kind of like, hey, I've done this before. I'm Joe Goss. Like I have the confidence. I've done the work. Like, or do you kind of go in and say, it's pressure? Yeah.
I look at pressure as a hobby, because with sports you're gonna have to get it.
True.
It's coming to you all the time, especially in big games, close games, stuff like that. And it was like pressure gonna be pressure. I'm gonna just have to learn how to handle it, especially growing up. And those big games, those big football games, stuff like that. People are counting on me. And some people are against me too. Yeah. So it was like I know what I can do.
Yeah.
Most people can't tell me different. Yeah. Most people can be on my side, but I know what I can do on the field. So
yeah.
It's like that.
It's like a confidence piece, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So let's turn it over and transfer it into how handling pressure has helped you now in the classroom.
Handling pressure in the classroom, kind of field to classroom, court, everything. I would get assignments, homework assignments, stuff like that. Get on game day, not do it, look past it. But then, tests came up, finals came up, and it was like I need to get on top of it. I don't want to fail this.
Yeah.
So, I had to get homework done early before I went to work out or just practice, stuff like that. And, just stay on top of my work.
Yeah.
So it's easier. Same as the court.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Can you attest, that's consistency, right? So, you've done the work in the classroom, so you feel a lot more confident in the tests or the quizzes, correct? So how are you developing those habits?
Staying on top of my work. Shout out to my mom. She pushes me a lot to stay on top of my work.
She don't play. Yeah.
She can see one missing assignment. Automatically ask me to open that Chromebook.
Hey.
See what's going on.
Hey.
So
yeah.
Shout out to my mom. She helps me stay on top of it a lot too. I'm out of it. So
Yeah. Because, I mean, what is it? It's a student athlete, you know, and when they go hand in hand.
Yeah, if you're not a student before an athlete, you ain't getting no scholarships that you want at all.
Facts. So you got to do twice the work. You know, people outside looking in, you know, I mean, full ride scholarship. Amazing. Loved it. Went to an establishment that was over $50,000 a year.
Yeah.
But if you weren't an athlete, or the students are just looking at it like, oh, they get to come here for free. Like, what are they complaining about?
Right.
Think of a full-time job, okay, at a minimum wage pay, okay, and that was before NIL.
Right.
So we had to go to weights, go to conditioning, go to practice, go to class, go to tutoring, study, get some kind of rest, get some kind of recovery, and repeat it the next day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Difficult, very, very hard, doable, nearly impossible. No, it's possible, but like you have to have good habits, or you will fail in one thing, and then you're gonna fail in the next thing, and it's just gonna spiral. You know what I mean? So just kind of looking ahead. You want to play in college.
Sure.
You want to be on a full ride scholarship. How do you think handling pressure now is preparing you for that?
Handling pressure
as a student athlete.
As a student athlete. Knowing that, you know, I could just be a student and, you know, get a scholarship for academic stuff like that and go do whatever my major is. But we don't have any more walk-ons. You can't walk on anymore. So it's not good.
At all?
You can't walk on.
What?
No more walk-on.
You're lying.
I promise you. You can't walk on. You can't walk on. Yeah. Got to get that for
Well, actually, that makes sense because they're stopped recruiting freshmen nowadays. They're going to transfer portal. But okay, go ahead.
And so it's like knowing that I want that scholarship, knowing that I want to go to a big-time school and get drafted, stuff like that. So it's like if I'm not on top of my work and on top of my athletics right now, I wouldn't expect to go D1, get to the league, go overseas, maybe.
Right. Hey.
So I just got to stay on top of it.
Yeah. And like you said, I mean, you have the support. Your mom has helped you a lot in school and making sure that you stay on top of those things. How important it is to have that support from your mother to kind of keep you organized.
Love my mom.
Yeah,
you know, so it's her support. It definitely helps me a lot. She's everywhere. She's always around. Knows where I'm at. You know, checks on me a lot. So her being there, just always checking on me. You know, it means a lot. And then knowing I don't want to go too far. You know, if I like the college or whatever. You know, but I'm gonna definitely get homesick. You know, without my parents, especially without my mom. So,
yeah, that's a real thing. And boy, it comes in waves. It comes in waves. Okay, let's say this. Would you classify yourself as a good test taker? Long standardized tests that you're in there for 3-4 hours.
Yeah,
you're a good test taker.
Yeah, I could be in there for like a whole school day.
Yeah. Okay. So that is the reason why a lot of kids aren't good test takers, or it's like a focus thing. A lack of sleep, a lack of nutrition, pressure.
Yeah.
What would you say to those students? I mean, you're getting ready to start taking SATs and ACTs.
Yeah.
Do they still do the ACT? It doesn't matter. Okay, they changed it, whatever. But you're getting ready to take those types of tests that has some real big weight with it. How are you going in there with a clear head and handling that pressure?
Knowing that I done already went through 3.5, 4 quarters of schoolwork.
That's true.
Big tests,
That's true.
Finals, getting us prepared for SAT, SAT, stuff like that. And it was like, it's just like it's another day, but I have to take it more seriously than I did with other tests and stuff like that. And putting everything that I've learned, so far into one test, it's like, I know that I got it, studying, stacking.
If you talk about preparation, right, I feel like that since you've done the work, it's just going to transfer over to the next thing. Right. In high pressure environments, and I want to say this because we talked a little bit about it in, how you're the firstborn. Okay. There's some high pressure environments. You know what I mean? You got to protect your sister. You got to be aware. You got to know her surroundings. we've all met your sister.
Yeah.
And she's very much like, do okay? I'm the exact same. But in those pressure situations, like, how is that responsibility weighing on you?
A lot.
If it's weight, yeah.
Yeah, definitely a lot. You know, just having to keep an eye on her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if it's just us and 24/7, even though she gets on my nerves.
Hey, you know, love that.
Love it to death.
Yes.
So it's,
you guys are gonna be besties. Watch. You're gonna leave to go to college, and then she's gonna be like, "Oh my god, he's really gone." It's gonna hit her one day, and then she'll start being super nice. You'll start being super nice, and just the support, you know, and the love that you guys will have for each other. Yeah. How have you learned to manage pressure while avoiding burnout? And that can be in the classroom, that can be on the field, the track, whatever. Burnout is a real thing. Mm-hmm. Do you face burnout? Let's start there. Do you ever get burned out?
Yeah, I get burned out a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like sports. Mm-hmm. And it's a lot because I have to sports, homework, stuff like that. Get home, you know, shower, eat, homework, 4 or 5 hours of sleep. Yeah, I have to repeat it the next day. Mm-hmm. So it's a lot. Yeah. What do you do when you get burned out? Like, how do you kind of refocus and reset yourself? I either shout out to my sports therapist, Austin. Yes. I'll probably get like a fidget thing, you know, play with that a little bit, get all the stress off my mind, or, you know, just take some breathing exercises. Okay. So to avoid burnout, okay, you're still going to have pressure in the classroom, you know, some pressure at home, some pressure on the court field, whatever. Right. How do you avoid burnout while dealing with all that pressure? Try to make a little bit more time for yourself, maybe. You know, I feel like outside, you know, maybe your mom, your dad, just parents in general, you know yourself the best. Yes. You know what you need, you know what you want. So I say, you know, if you about to experience a burnout situation, just try to take some time to yourself, take some deep breaths, find an empty room to yourself, stressful at home, and just take some time off. Yeah, it's a little bit. Maybe it don't got to be long. It don't got to be an hour, 2 hours. It don't have to be a day. Take at least 10 to 15 minutes to yourself, and you'll see it a little different. You start valuing it. And this is going way off script, but how do you decompress? So you're a young Black man in this world, you know. So you know, and you are starting. You were the cute little JoJo. Now you could be a threat. Yeah. You know, the pressures of the world, the pressures of being a Black man. You know, you're still very young, but I know you've seen. What is your comprehension of the pressures of the world and how they perceive Black men? It's a lot, you know. Growing up Black, just definitely a lot of weight on your shoulders, especially out in public. You know, you have certain people that just look at you different. Yeah. And recently, actually, it was raining outside. My parents let me go to my friend's birthday party, D1. Shout out D1. Yeah, we had a little sprinter. We went downtown and got out. Mind you, it's cold. It's raining. Had a ski mask, and we're going to Chick-fil-A, get some food real quick. And I take down my mask, and walk in there, take my hood off, and I'm just getting crazy looks as soon as I walk in there. You know, I'm like, dang, it's just cold outside. I got a ski mask on. It's a little chilly, like. And it was like dang, this is real life. Like, I'm gonna have to deal with this for the rest of my life. And knowing that I have to go through this while I'm trying to get to a goal that I want to get to is definitely hard. Yeah. But I know that I can get through it. I know y'all can get through it too. So, you know, yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And again, I mean, you're 16. How tall are you? 6'4". A little bit taller than me. And you know, you could be seen as that threat now. Do you move differently knowing that? Or are you still, you know, trying to, you know, be the JoJo that you are? You have a 2-minute conversation with you. You know that, you know, you're the most lovable, kind, you know, person. That's just who you are. Now, you can get spicy.
We ain't gonna talk about them spicy moments, but we know you can get spicy and turn it on when you want to turn it on. But, you know, do you feel that rage or that you don't want it to come out?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of rage. Mm-hmm. Most definitely. You know, I'm just trying to prevent myself from being the quote unquote crash out I was. You know, just, like you said, breathing exercises, stuff like that. Yeah. So just trying to stay in my own head and not let my head get out, and I just do stuff that I don't want to do. Small stuff. And I wouldn't say I move differently. Okay. But it's like I'm Joe. Like I'm gonna be who I am. I'm gonna be the person I am. Mm-hmm. So it's like they don't like it. But it still bothers me just a little bit because it's like I'm just like, oh, so it's nothing different. Right. There's not much you can do. I mean, you can't tell people, you know, how to think, what to think. You know what I mean? But being true to yourself, you know, always being respectable and all those things that your mom or your dad taught you are the things that's going to get through. You know what I mean? So, okay. So anything you want to leave the listeners? Any advice? Any, you know, specifically about handling pressure? But you got something else on your mind? You can say that too. Be safe. Think of pressure as a hobby, not a stressful situation, and be happy. Be happy. Anything that any advice you have for me and just my endeavors of, you know, trying to podcast and getting people on and things? Just keep being a great big cousin you are. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Everybody loves me. No, all right. So that concludes another episode of the Playmakers Blueprint. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. JoJo, go ahead and plug us. What is your social media? X, Joe Goss 2027. Instagram, Joe Goss _. Facebook is Joe Goss _. TikTok, JLGUAS. And okay, yes, like, comment, subscribe, follow Joe Goss. He is yet another rising star, not only in the community, but on the field, track, court, and course. Okay, here we go. All right. All right. Thanks so much for tuning in to the Playmakers Blueprint. We'll catch you next week, Monday, 6 p.m. That was amazing. That was good, Joe. Good job. I need a hug. Good job. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for tuning in to the Playmakers Blueprint. You can catch me every Monday at 6 p.m. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast.